Hey y'all, I'm Jody Walls,
I'm Brady Brock.
and Gumtree's proud to bring to you the Cody Stubblefield pregame show.
Go Bulldogs!
Make up of the game. You come out and hit them in the mouth on the first play, we're going to be fine.
All right, welcome back to Inside New Albany High School Football with Coach Cody Stubblefield and Mr. Paul Henry. I'm Robert Garrett. We want to welcome you back, and this show is brought to you by Gumtree Mortgage.
Yeah, Coach, had a big win last week, but kind of to talk to some of our viewers this week, we kind of want to throw a twist in the show.
Okay.
This week, we've talked about all our other coaches and everything. We want to know a little bit about Cody Stubblefield. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your hobbies and things you do, and kind of to burn off steam, because I know in the coaching world, a lot of stress. Every week you have a lot of stress and things, and
to add to that, also tell us about your playing career in high school and in college.
All right. Well, first off, I graduated from North Pontotoc. We've talked about that a little bit. Went my entire high school career there. Played football at Itawamba Community College. Went to University of Memphis, played 2 years there. So I'm a product of a junior college football program, and then went on to a D1 program. So football has been important throughout my life. So has athletics in general. Played baseball through middle school and into high school. Did powerlifting, did football as well. So grew up. Mom and dad coached Little League, all the way through kind of things. Just athletics has always been important. My dad played junior college baseball. My mom coached softball. And played, basketball throughout high school and college. Played at Blue Mountain. So, athletics is important. Athletics I talked about can, build character in kids, and there's a lot of things that we get from athletics. So, one, I would say athletics is a big part of my life. Things as far as we do outside of it. I've got a beautiful wife named Emily. We're expecting our second child. We've got Ray, who's a 2-year-old, and Carter, who's going to be here in February, and so excited about that.
Congratulations with that.
Appreciate that. Outside of football in high school, we live on a small farm in Ingomar. We've got some cows that Ray and me, we like to get on the Ranger, whether we're messing with cows or hunting or fishing, doing that such stuff. So we like the outdoors as well. I think the small farm life is a great way for a kid to grow up. It was something I was able to do growing up. And so it's something that, I enjoyed, and I'm excited that he's going to have that opportunity as well. So
awesome.
Yeah, it's good stuff. One of the stories that I tell people all the time that he'll get embarrassed me telling it, but I went to an Ole Miss football game. I think it was in 2003, maybe 2005. I can't remember, somewhere in there. And I watched the game, and Coach wore number 66. And I remember watching, and you played every position on the offensive line in that game. It was Memphis against Ole Miss. And I told his mother, I said, I don't know that I've ever seen an offensive lineman play a game that good. And I meant it. And after the game, tell him kind of a little bit what happened in the locker room.
Well, when you get beat by 21 or so, something like that, we got beat. Ole Miss was definitely better than us. You're trying to find who the player of the game was. So I ended up being the offensive player of the game that week. The main reason I started at left tackle. That was where I played most of the time, but I was also the backup for the other positions on the offensive line. So anytime a guard needed a break or whatever, well, I had a pretty good backup. He would come to left tackle, and I would go to right guard, right tackle. So I ended up playing 4 of the 5 offensive line positions. So and I got a tackle that game also. They didn't talk about that, but we threw a pick and made a tackle. But due again to trying to find somebody to be an offensive player of the game when you score 14 and get beat by 21. They gave it to the offensive line.
Well, and through watching the game, I was coaching offensive line here at New Albany at the time. And so I remember coming back and showing our players the film because I had it recorded on ESPN. And there were plays where he would cut a guy, jump up and block 2 more. And, that whole saying, find work. As an offensive lineman, don't just stand around and block one guy and watch the game. Well, he found work that game, I can tell you.
Well, we talk about, our offensive line being big athletes. We don't like the terminology of just big, slow guys that are just, we want those guys to move up front. And as far as me, I was not necessarily the strongest guy out there, but I was one of the better athletes.
I would agree with
typically
that.
in a football game. So as far as big guys,
And at that time, the coach, I can't remember his name. What was it? The head coach?
Tommy West.
Yeah, Tommy West was a big spread it out, get it to the edges, and so you were the type of offensive lineman he was looking for.
Right. It was Clay Hilton. Clay Hilton is actually the head coach of the USC right now. So he was our offensive coordinator at the time.
Yes, it's amazing the connections you have throughout coaching and playing and things. And, looking at our staff and kind of building on that, we've got a lot of experience there from a player standpoint and a coaching standpoint that, y'all are mentoring our young men here at New Albany.
Well, I think coaching staff wise, a couple of things. You want to hire people that are possibly better than you. We want the absolute best coaches and coaching staff around. When we go out and we have an opportunity to bring somebody in, we literally go after the best people we can find. We started 3 years ago. From that original staff that carried over from Coach Hill, it's pretty much me and Coach Murphy. Coach Curbo was there pretty soon right after that. He worked 1 year at the middle school and then came over. Besides us three, we brought people in. When I got the job, Coach Stubblefield came in, joined us from Pontotoc, brought him in. Coach Sanks is a new addition this year, and Coach Trent Hammond has come in this year as well as Jake McDonald, who also had a baby this week. So we've got, I think as far as networking, Trent's been around a long time. He's got a big network. Coach Murphy is a guy whose dad was a head coach in Mississippi for a long time. He's got a network due to that and his experience. Coach Curbo's served as offensive coordinator in several different programs. At Lake Homer was very successful there. He's got his own little network. So we combined, we know a lot of people across the state of Mississippi in football.
Well, tell us real quick. So last week we played Tisch. It was our homecoming, and we got a big win. So tell us just a little bit about the Tisch game and your reflection after watching the film.
Well, the score was 56-7. Anytime you beat somebody like that, you're excited about that. I think from a defensive standpoint, we've been getting better and better all year. Our guys, I think our coaching staff, our Trent Hammond, Kendall Murphy, Coach Sean Sanks, do a tremendous job preparing those guys week in and week out of playing alignment assignment football. When we go out there and we pop a formation out there, those kids know the top three plays out of that formation. They know how to line up. And so Friday nights, I think they're comfortable. And then that's carried over week to week, and they're getting better and better at that. So I think those guys do a great job getting those guys ready on defense.
Well, one thing I tell you, y'all kind of set the tone right off the bat, right? Y'all came out there and physical up front and had a couple big plays just right when you first touched the ball, right?
Yeah, I think the second play was about a 77-yard run. From an offensive standpoint, we come in on Sundays, myself, Josh Curbo, Colin Stubblefield, Jack McDonald, those guys come in on Sunday with their own little game plan, the things that they've seen on film. They do a great job evaluating it and coming in with those things. And then we talk about them. We work through it and come up with what we think puts our best guys on the field and our best chance for success. So, we felt like we were going to be the bigger, stronger, more physical team Friday night. I think our offensive line and those two big running backs are some of the strengths of our team. We got in that heavy set and we didn't have a reason to get out of it. We just stayed into it. We've got some special guys that can make plays as well in Isaiah Karan and Cameron Knox. So the challenge when we get into that heavy set is finding ways to still get those guys the ball because Isaiah can score at any moment. Cameron Knox, I think he's got 12 receptions and 7 of them for touchdowns. So even though CJ and AI may take the bulk of those carries and stuff, we've got some guys that we got to make sure we get the ball to as well. So, but against Tisch, the game plan was to be more physical, to come out there, to control the game. But we had 2 different running backs, actually 3. All 3 of our running backs averaged over 15 yards a carry. That's phenomenal.
And how many yards of offense did y'all have in that game?
We had right around 600 yards of offense. There was right at just over 500 yards rushing, and then we had somewhere around 80 yards. Joe had about 80 yards passing and receiving. So CJ had about 280. AI had, I think, 160, somewhere around in there. And then Cody had a 17-yard touchdown run. Isaiah had a touchdown run. I had several other guys adding to that total.
Just a pretty dominant performance by you guys.
Yeah, I think so, for sure.
Napa know-how isn't just for guys like this.
Power tools.
Every driver deserves quality parts.
Practical and cool.
So you can do it yourself with Napa Auto Parts or get it done for you at a Napa Auto Care Center. Which means Napa know-how is for you, karaoke car lady. And never popped a hood guy?
I can pop a hood.
You too, Mr. Park a mile away. Oh yeah. Do it yourself or have it done for you. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
Welcome back to Inside New Albany High School Football with Mr. Paul Henry. We've got with us Coach Curbo here. So, Coach Curbo, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Coach. Welcome to the show tonight. And first of all, just tell us a little bit about. I know you've been with the program now for a couple of years now. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you coach, and what it's been like to be here in New Albany coaching football.
I'm coaching running backs, doing some of the pass game stuff for the offense. Been a great experience, especially coming in to a new head coach. Been a joy to work for. Been a good time and a fun time to be here with us developing our middle school program, our high school program, pushing football, and been exciting to watch the changes take place and move in a positive direction.
So, Coach, tell us the position you coach and then some of the players that you coach that have worked really hard for you over the last year or so.
Coaching running backs, C.J. Hill's been a good one for us over the last 2 years, especially as a sophomore last year, had a good season. Started out Boonville game, kind of took over that game, and played well for us the rest of the season as our feature back. This year we had A.I. Nugent move in, and he's a phenomenal football player in all three phases of the game. Runs the ball really hard, got a good work ethic. And then Cody Atkinson, I've had the opportunity to coach him from middle school all the way through, and he's going to be a big help to our program in the future. He's a good kid, hard-working kid, does well in the classroom, does well in the field, understands the game, and so exciting to be a running backs coach right now here at New Albany.
Sure.
Yeah, I tell you what, having two backs like you got in the backfield or two or three, that makes your job a whole lot easier coaching run.
No doubt.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about your early coaching career. I mean, I know you moved here from Lake Cormorant. Tell us a little bit about that. And I know you're one of the two coaches that when Coach Stubblefield got the job were here. The rest of them are new. So kind of tell us about the previous jobs and then as you've moved into this job, your impression of the town and your kids go to school here and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I started out at Horn Lake High School, which is where I graduated from. Spent a couple of years there, special teams coordinator doing running backs. Then I moved on to Lewisburg, and at Lewisburg, special teams coordinator there as well, and did running backs and linebackers. Then that led into an opportunity at Lake Cormorant to go in and take over as offensive coordinator. Spent 5 years there, 3 years as the offensive coordinator. My last year there, we had a very talented group of kids, good coaching staff, and made a North Half run there. And the following year, I went and spent 1 year in private school. Coach running backs was offense coordinator, associate head coach there, and found our way to New Albany. Really, my dad grew up here, but I was raised in DeSoto County, so I had an idea of how the type of town and the type of education system that was here, and wanted to try to produce an opportunity or create an opportunity to raise my family here. And so when Coach Stubblefield and some others presented that opportunity, I jumped all over it and got our kids in school here, excited about it, love the town, love the community, love the school system. And to be honest with you, it's the best place I've been as far as football staff, education, place for my kids and family. So we really enjoy it here.
Napa know-how isn't just for guys like this.
Power tools.
Every driver deserves quality parts.
Practical and cool.
So you can do it yourself with Napa Auto Parts or get it done for you at a Napa Auto Care Center. Which means Napa know-how is for you, karaoke car lady. And never popped a hood guy?
I can pop a hood.
You too, Mr. Park a mile away. Oh yeah. Do it yourself or have it done for you. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
So welcome back to Inside New Albany High School Football. We got another special guest, Coach Murphy here. So, Coach Murphy, we want to welcome you to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, Coach, welcome to the show. And if you would, just start us off by telling us a little bit about the positions you coach and how long you've been here with the program. I think you've been with Coach Stubblefield since he became the head coach here. And just tell us a little bit about your experience here in New Albany football.
That's right. So came in 3 years ago. This is my third season at New Albany. I've bounced. I did DBs for the first 2 years. Now I'm at inside linebackers, and this is my first year doing inside linebackers here. And I couldn't coach a better group. You got Jackson Fornsman and Lewis Creekmore, who bring a lot of experience, super smart, and I've got a really good group I coach right there.
So tell us about your early coaching career and even where you went to high school and college. And I know you're married to a local girl here in New Albany. She went to West Union. So just tell us a little bit about your family life and your background moving into New Albany.
All right, I could go on for a while here, so I'll try to keep it short. But graduated from Corinth, went to Northeast and played baseball for a couple years, and then had shoulder surgery and career was pretty much over after that. Went on to graduate at Ole Miss after that, and didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I went and helped my dad. Coach Stubblefield mentioned my dad was a coach. Went and helped him out one spring break, and there was no doubt in my mind that's what I wanted to do. And so I pursued that wholeheartedly after that, and really thought I wanted to be a baseball coach. And my first opportunity was here 9 years ago, as a baseball coach under Coach John Walker. And after that, I went on to Ashland as the head baseball coach. An assistant football coach with the Benton County football team. That was Hickory Flat and Ashland combined, so that was a little strange. But and then went on from there to get a little bit more local. That was a 35-mile trip for me. So I went to East Union, was there for 4 years. 3 of those years as defense coordinator. Learned a lot there, and I guess had an attraction for new and upcoming programs because Ashland was brand new, didn't really have facilities or anything like that. Basically got dressed in the classrooms. East Union was the same way for the first year. I put a lot of sweat and all that into making that field, putting that irrigation in and all that stuff. It was a struggle that first year, but we got things, me and Stephen Basil and Kevin Walton got things on the right track there, and opportunity presented itself here, and I couldn't pass it up. It was Coach Stubblefield made it really attractive for me to come, and I'm glad I'm here.
Once that coaching's in your blood, and you being a second-generation coach, I tell people all the time, once you ever coach, it kind of never goes away. You're always going to have that in your blood,
No doubt. That's my dad, going through those early years of coaching, he was getting phone calls from me every night. Just
and that's smart. That's smart of you to do that.
Yeah, for sure. And I was getting when it came to just implementing something a little bit different, a little bit something new. And the coaches I was with were more focused on the offensive side of things, so I really didn't have anybody else to talk to, and so I'd call him and he would give me his rundown on what he thought or why that would work or why that would not work. And I'm glad I had him in my corner because it was big time for me.
Yeah. So tell us just a little bit about your family, your wife. I know you've got a beautiful little daughter. So tell us a little bit about them.
Yeah, I'll get back to them. Yeah. So when I introduce myself here, a lot of time I have to introduce myself as Dale Manning's son-in-law or as Leanne Manning's husband.
Which is understandable.
Yeah. So they're all well known around here. The Mannings are well known. So I married Leanne. She owns Obsessions boutique and salon downtown. Also has a store in Corinth as well. Anyway, we have a daughter, 3.5 years old, and she, we got to slow her down. She's full speed ahead. She thinks she's a cheerleader out there with those cheerleaders. She thinks she's in the band whenever the band comes by. And we've taught her we're Ole Miss fans, so we've taught her this is Daddy's Bulldogs. This isn't just Bulldogs; it's Daddy's Bulldogs. And so she cheers for Daddy's Bulldogs big time. And then we got a little boy who just turned 5 months old. Just turned 5 months old. His name is Manning, which obviously came from Leanne's maiden name there. So. Yeah, I've got a good family, and married into a very good family.
Let's just say between football and family, you're pretty busy, aren't you?
That's right.
No doubt. Whenever I'm not here, I'm at Obsessions a lot, helping out with the business and things of that nature. I'm very busy, and then of course we're always going to family events. And I was at a junior high basketball game just the other night, and soccer games and all that. So we're always on the move, going somewhere, and we wouldn't have it any other way. And Albany is a great place to have all that going on. There's a lot of opportunities to present themselves in this town that we don't want to miss out on.
Yeah, and one of the compliments of Coach, it seems like, I come through here at random times on the weekend at night, working on different things, and it seems like almost every time I come in, he's here, studying film or doing whatever he's doing. So he's a real hard worker, so I always wanted to compliment how hard of a worker he is. at football, but also in the classroom. So, Coach, we appreciate you being here with us.
Thank you.
So stick with us, and when we come back, we'll be with Coach Cody Stubblefield, and we'll talk about this coming week's game against Ripley.
Napa know-how isn't just for guys like this.
Power tools.
Every driver deserves quality parts.
Practical and cool.
So you can do it yourself with Napa Auto Parts or get it done for you at a Napa Auto Care Center. Which means Napa know-how is for you, karaoke car lady. And never popped a hood guy?
I can pop a hood.
You too, Mr. Park a mile away. Oh yeah. Do it yourself or have it done for you. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
All right, well, welcome back to Inside New Albany High School Football with Coach Cody Stubblefield, brought to you by Gumtree Mortgage.
All right, Coach, we've got Ripley coming to town Friday night. Tell us a little bit about what you see, what we've got to do to win, who are the players to watch, and so forth.
Anytime it's Ripley week around here, that's a big deal. Ripley's a rivalry
No
for
doubt.
a long time, coming. Basically, anytime you talk about Ripley, especially some of the older people in the community, they get really excited.
Right.
Ripley's a football team this year that has been getting better consistently. I think they started off a little slow. Perry Lyles, this is his first season as Ripley's head coach. He was at Calhoun City for a long time, was very successful there.
Big powerlifting guy, right?
Big powerlifting guy. He's very, very well known in that world. So I think Ripley will, get stronger and whatnot. As far as offensively, they do some double wing stuff, some stuff that you don't see week in, week out. Some things, there are some similarity between them and the wing T at Corinth, but there are some differences as well. They're not a heavy pass team. Offensively, they're going to try to find different ways to run the ball. For the most part, they've got a back number 3 that is, the guy to keep your eye on. He is a kid that opened up the last week's game against Corinth and returned it to the house. So they opened up against Corinth with a touchdown that he returned. So we got to make sure we bottle him up and keep him contained because he's a guy, like I said, that can score.
So what percent run and pass do you think they would be? When fans come to the game, what can they expect to see?
Probably 80-20.
80 run?
80 run, 20
Wow,
pass.
okay.
Yeah, and it could go. There are games where it goes beyond that. I mean, they are not the most balanced team. In that double wing offense, they're looking for ways to run the football. They're trying to get an advantage, get the edge, or create a motion here and hit you back underneath. Our guys got to really pay attention to formations and those motions and
Right.
be ready to go.
Well, that wing T is kind of based on that, misdirection and getting you leaning one way and
Sure.
popping that thing the other way.
Well, go ahead.
So when you talk double wing, are you talking like kind of what Navy does, Army does, with some of the lots of fakes in the backfield and all that kind of stuff?
Yes, and they can have one wing on one side, 2 on the other. They'll see that, try to outflank you by a stretch play. They'll go with the receiver out in 2 wings, what Coach Hammond calls spec. There's a lot of different formations that they do. So if you watch, you'll see them line up a bunch of different ways. They'll get into, some more spread out formations as well. But I think for the most part, what they're doing is trying to create angles, trying to create advantages as far as getting the edge and trying to find ways to run the football. They've got a freshman quarterback who did not start the first couple games. I'm not sure exactly which game he came in, but he came in as the season went on and has, I believe, improved them. He's learned the offense. He executes the offense pretty well. I think the key, 55 is their best offensive lineman. You'll see him at tackle on both sides. He's a guy, that will move, and whenever he moves, he's moving for a reason. They're not moving him for no reason. So that's a key that, our guys will watch. Number 1, I think, is probably the best player on their team who plays offense and defense. He moves a lot as well. He plays wing. He plays tight end. Again, he's moving for a reason. And so those are some keys that our defense has seen. Coach Murphy saw some of that. Coach Hammond saw some of that. And so those are things they pointed out all week. So, week in and week out, they get that game plan together. Those kids, learn to align and learn those keys. All right, 1's over here. We know what this is. 55's flip sides.
Sure.
Different things like that key them into what possibly is coming.
And the real challenge of playing a team like that is you probably haven't played a single one all year, or maybe one all year, who runs an offense like that. So it's hard for your scout team to learn it, and then it's also hard to give a real good look to your defense.
Yeah. Corinth helps a little bit there because, like I said, there are some similarities, even though it's not the same offense. and scout teams wise, our guys come out and they practice hard, but it is hard sometimes, for a scout team to pick it up in a week and give a guy the best, a team the best look when an offense is doing it all year. Right. So, the reality of it is, our defensive line's got to do a really good job penetrating, causing havoc with when they pull. Our linebackers have to make sure they key where 55 and 1 is, and call out some of those keys, and play downhill.
Sure.
So I think when you face a new offense, it presents some challenges, but it allows those guys to kind of step in, get deep, and make sure they come up with a good game plan. And so I fully expect our guys to be prepared and to keep Ripley in check.
Well, bottom line, you got to win that battle up front.
Yeah, for sure.
Just in the trenches, and I know your brother says that a lot. You got to be mean up there, right?
Yeah, Coach Stubblefield, he brings a different mentality to the game. We both offensive line guys, but we share, we both share a passion for the offensive line play. But we're our own people, and he's a little bit different than I am. He brings a little bit more intensity. Those guys that stay around him learn to love him, and we'll run through brick walls for him. And I think you see offensive line play with a little chip on their shoulder, play with a little more aggressiveness, and I think part of that is due to Coach Stubblefield.
They take on the personality of their coach, for sure.
Absolutely. But like I said, we talked a little bit about Ripley's offense defensively. Ripley, some of their key players, their team that's probably playing 4 to 5 guys both ways. I think one key note on defense, they've got 3 freshmen playing. And going back to their offense, their quarterback's a freshman as well. So they've got some spots that are young. They've got some older seniors that are playing both ways, and are some really talented players. But defensively, they run, for the most part, a 4-3. So they've got 4 defensive linemen,
2 safeties,
3 linebackers. They're too high. Then they've got 2 corners. So they will transition and go into a 3-4 at times by just dropping one of the defensive ends back and bumping over. But I think they want to stay in that 4-3 as much as possible. I think any team that plays us is going to have to decide that we're going to try to stop the run first, which can open up some holes in the passing game and some lanes. If you're a 4-3, when you have those 4 down linemen, you naturally have a little bit more space in that second level and third level.
Sure.
So those outside linebackers have to do a really good job in some of our spread things in covering ground. And our receivers, they're taught week in and week out to find that space and exploit it. Our quarterback's got reads where if an outside linebacker makes this move, well, we've got somebody filling that spot and we've got to hit him right now. So I think when you see that 4-3, going in right then that's an area that you're going to attack. They're primarily what we've evaluated. We think they're a cover 2 team. They're a little softer than a lot of teams play with those corners backing off. We've got things in place to take advantage.
So they want to keep it in front of them. They want to keep everything in front of them.
Any DB wants to keep it in front of you, but they're going to be a little more cautious there, like you're saying.
So in that kind of situation, we got to take what the defense gives us, right?
Absolutely. We've got routes that we call gift routes where the receiver knows based on whether it's a run play or whatever the case may be that I'm going to do this, and if it's open, the quarterback can take it at any point.
Gotcha. So, Coach, tell us the logistics of the game. How full can the stadium be? Can people get tickets at the gate, that kind of thing?
Well, right now, due to everything COVID-wise, we're at 50% capacity. Basically, tickets are sold at the gate. We sell our participants tickets ahead of time, and then we'll have some at the gate. So, come early because they will sell out.
Right.
But usually there's 300 to 400 at the gate available, and so most people have an opportunity to get in. We send X amount of tickets to Ripley each week based on what can fit on that sideline. And then if you can't make it, we've got the live streams available and WNAU, the radio. So there are some options as far as staying connected, even if you can't make it to the game.
Yeah, and I wanted to give a plug to WNAU. They've been great all season to plug their audio right into our live stream, and those guys do a great job, sound awesome.
Yeah, last week me and you were texting back and forth. Mr. Saul Kurt said, got to get to the land of milk and honey, right?
That's right.
And, when the Bulldogs find 7 or find 6.
Pretty good catchphase right there, getting it when you score a touchdown.
He's going to get them to the land of milk and honey.
That's right.
That probably needs to make Sports Center at some point. I hadn't heard that before I got here.
Well, we want to thank you for joining us for Inside New Albany High School Football, brought to you by Gumtree Mortgage. For Mr. Paul Henry and Coach Cody Stubblefield, we want to thank you and see you next time.
Go Bulldogs.
Thanks for joining us for the pregame show.
Hey guys, anytime we can help you with your mortgage needs, just give Jody or I a call at Gumtree Mortgage. Thanks.
Go Dogs.